How's everybody doing, Mama? You gonna clean everybody up, or should I go get a towel? I think I'm gonna go get a towel. Well, maybe she's doing it. Is she doing it? Yeah, I'm gonna go get a towel.
Hi guys, so we are taking care of our early newborn Chai's babies.
So she had a labor that went from 0 to 60 very quickly, which is exactly what you want. She's okay. She's not hurting them.
She's just sniffing them out.
So I've been watching her all day. She'd been in labor, obviously. And I went in the house for half an hour, came back out, and we had 3 babies on the ground. 2 of them were in pools of amniotic fluid. One of them she was licking on, but it was starting to get cold. It's been in the 20s at night here. And so we sat and watched her for about 45 minutes, waiting for her to pay attention to them. Obviously, the 2 that were in the pools of amniotic fluid, I went in and dried them off. But the minute that I stepped in to help, she just lost interest in the babies, complete interest. But I would have lost the 2 babies because they were going to freeze in that pool of slime because she was only paying attention to the white one. So
this one. So these 2 would have died.
Yeah, they would have just frozen. So we were already planning on bottle feeding one of them because it's for Esther Emery. She's coming down to visit us and get one of the babies. So this baby's going to be hers. We're putting them on. We're putting her on bottles. We're going to take the 2 bucklings out to Mama again in the morning because I only like to milk once a day. So when you have very lethargic babies, you see what the girls are doing, how they're just kind of rubbing on them and kind of messing with them. This is like what the mom does. It stimulates them to breathe. It stimulates them to get up and nurse. So my girls are my little massage therapists right now. If you have a lethargic baby, you don't want to give them lukewarm milk. You want to give them almost hot milk. So much warmer than lukewarm. And the way that you know that you have a lethargic cold baby is that their mouth will be cold. If the inside of their mouth is really cold, it means you need to get some almost hot milk in them very quickly. Warm. These guys are doing a lot better than they were. We are feeding them constantly right now until they stop being lethargic. You can see the one on the ground there next to Kaya is lethargic. The rubbing really, really makes a difference in how well they do. Having a child hold them and rub them greatly increases their chance of survival because it's telling them to wake up, let's stay in the world. And so this is what we've been doing today.
Including when they suck on digs.
All right, so the babies were in the kitchen last night, and they only asked to be fed every 4 hours, which was nice. When I was a kid and we raised bum lambs, I had to get up every 2 hours to feed them, and I had an alarm clock. But I let these guys be my alarm clock because they were just in the kitchen. When they woke up, we fed them. I think I don't know. These guys are a little bit slower to get started. I don't know if it was because they were triplets or because Mama didn't take care of them right away, but they're just a little bit slower. The doeling, which Paige is bringing out, is the biggest of the 3. And she's doing pretty good, but these little bucklings are just a little more lethargic than I want them. So it is almost 60 degrees in here, which is really, can you see that? But it's 20 degrees outside. And so I don't want these guys in my kitchen anymore because they wander around and they pee and they poop, and it's fine with me that they're wandering around and wanting to play. I don't want to have to restrict them is the thing. I'd rather that they could just come out here and play where the floors aren't slippery. Usually by this time you'd have little bouncy babies, and so you can see they're just a little lethargic. They're not taking the bottle quite as well as I'd like them to. Their eyes are a little bit staring instead of bright. So the girls played with and loved on and rubbed on the babies all night. At the beginning of the night, I tried to feed them every 20 minutes, just a little bit, but they were getting too sleepy in the heat in the kitchen to be able to do that. And so, so I just transitioned to on demand. When they woke up and they asked to be fed, that's when I fed them. Their mama still wants them. I got colostrum off of hers. So the reason that they're out here instead of with mom just trying to get back on is that it's too cold outside. 26 degrees is too cold for brand new babies to be out in. unless they have a mama and they're nursing every 3 minutes. He's the one that mama actually was trying to dry off. Huh, baby? Huh? But he's the one with the glassiest stare. I wish he was a little bit more energetic. You can lay down if you're tired. It's nice and warm in here. Lay down. Do you need help laying down? I fed them about half an hour ago. So they still have plenty of milk in their bellies. They're not hungry. When they shake like that, that means I'm full. I'm contented, I'm full. You should lay down. If you're tired, you can lay down or you can walk around, but you look like you're falling asleep on your feet. Huh? Yeah, he's been the most lethargic. Anyway, so it sounds like Paige, if you can hear the geese, our alarm geese, she's bringing hazelnut out. All of our goats are named after tea because the herd that we got them from, everyone was named after tea. We have chamomile and honey lemon and chai, and so hazelnut is the dough that we're giving to Esther Emery. Anyway, so the reason I love greenhouses for keeping baby animals in is that you can set the temperature just like you can on a heat lamp. I can set the temperature so that those panels down there open when it gets about 90 degrees. It's a little bit cooler down here on the ground, so I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to set it at 100 because, again, it'll be a lot cooler down here on the ground. I want these guys to stay plenty warm. I'm going to monitor them heavily. There's not much they can get into. I'm going to move the quail feed. Usually babies won't eat grain. If they find something, they might nibble on it, but they're not going to eat it. But I really don't want them to get into the quail food. And these guys are little Houdinis. They will just kind of wander off into some tiny little hole, and mama will be calling for them and crying for them and asking for them to come back, and they'll just wander off and go to sleep. So that mom's freaking out about where they are. This one we found this morning just in this teeny tiny little crack of a hole in the back of the couch. This one was actually pretty good. He just kind of slides around on the kitchen floor and then goes back to sleep. Do you need help laying down? Huh? Are you going to insist on climbing up into my bed and eating, or at least squishing my comfrey? Is that what you're going to do? You got her? Thanks for putting shoes on. Now, what is it you called the boys?
Peter is this little brown one.
Peter's the little brown one. Hazelnut is the girl.
Yes, and that one's Robin. Kind of likes.
And Robin, I like that. Okay, so you can see that Hazelnut is bigger. I think she was the first one born. That's usually how it works, is the first baby's the biggest, and then the last baby is the smallest. So I think it was Hazelnut, although I do think he might have been the last one. I don't know. Hazelnut, Robin, and then Peter. But you can see she's the one that's up and moving. She's curious. She's looking around. He may be getting a little more curious. That's a good sign. There's not much they can herd out here. The ducks have already been through my whole perennial bed eating grass and comfrey and everything. And so if these guys go and lay down on something, that's about the most damage they can do. Hi, little one. Hi.
I miss these guys.
I know. But we still have the two from Empress. So whether they're baby goats or baby chicks, greenhouses are heaven for keeping little animals out of your house but warm.
This isn't the hurt foot. This is.
That is. It got hurt pretty good, didn't it? And they just kind of get up and move around in spurts. And then they need to sleep, and then they want to get up again, and then they want to sleep. Well, they're not going anywhere for a while. We got to get them up and moving and taking the bottle just a little bit better before we can sell the bucks. But if they'll go on to chai, we'll keep them. Okay. But we have to get them onto chai so that Mom doesn't have to milk twice a day if she doesn't have to.
Wow.
Now make sure you don't have mouse traps or anything out here. I have mouse traps, but they're not the snapping kind. Make sure you don't have standing water. Make sure you don't have poison of any kind. We don't do rat poison or vole poison or anything like that. So again, the only thing really to worry about is the quail feed. It can take a lot of stubborn to get goats to nurse. You have to put your thumb in one side of their mouth, open their mouth to get the nipple in. And then you have to kind of sit there and work with them a bit. The key is be more stubborn than they are. Now they can't drink too much early on, so don't overfeed them. 2 tablespoons, 1/4 cup tops. This microclimate we have in the backyard with the straw and the white wall, it's so much warmer in the backyard than it is anywhere else on the property, which is fantastic until it gets to be the heat of summer. Okay, so when you have a new mama that doesn't want to be milked, have some kind of wet cloth because it simulates babies. You want to do it as early as possible. Usually I use the babies to help the mama let her milk down. So we'll put the babies in the cage at night and then we'll clip her next to the babies when I milk her. And that way she thinks that it's them because she's looking at them. Right now I'm needing to milk her out so that I can give the milk to the babies. Right now she has a lot of colostrum. And I see a lot of flies in there. We need to get them out to the pasture as soon as possible. So I'm milking her about every 4 hours. That's just for her comfort. I want her to bond with me. I want to make sure that she's not in pain from having too much milk in there. I'm feeding the babies about every 4 hours too. It seems to be when they're willing to eat. If I try to go any closer than 4 hours, they won't drink enough. So keeping babies in a bathtub means that you don't have poop all over your kitchen. They can get up and walk around. You do need to put something in the bottom so that they're not slipping and sliding everywhere. So between my 2 goats, milked once a day, this is how much milk I'm getting. And they still haven't come into full production yet. This is really what I dreamed of when we first moved here. It used to be this rocky, horrible, dry, hot rock in our backyard. And look at it now. It's going to be a hot day, but they could go out there in any space and be cool and have food to eat. They're on their way to check on bunnies, and then I would bet they're on their way to go get nanking cherries. Oh, that green.
Hey guys. So, you see that fuzzball? That little black fuzzball? That is a baby. One of Daisy's babies too. We have her nest box in here. This year she put a lot. So, just go in. See? So here's baby. There we go. This is Kai's rabbit. This is my rabbit, Princess Rosie. And this is her 2 babies. Beautiful and pretty. Hey guys, so we are going out. I am going out to my nanking cherry bushes. And I'm going out to our best nanking cherry bush. It's this tiny one, small. It's our second one. The reason why we're hanging around this one more now is because it has the plumpest nanking cherries ever. These do have pits. We like swallowing them. If you have children, and if you have nanking cherry fruit. Now, sometimes you'll see a little, like vine with red berries on it. That is deadly nightshade. Don't go for a vine or a little tree. Go for one of those, not for one of those vines or little trees, because they're poisonous.